This morning, the January 6th committee deepening its probe, collecting information and testimony from high-level Trump officials. We've just learned that the committee interviewed President Donald Trump's former Treasury Secretary, Steven Mnuchin. In addition, sources tell CNN the committee is negotiating terms for a potential interview with former Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe.
Joining us now to discuss, Errol Louis, political anchor for Spectrum News, and Elliot Williams, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General. Good to have you both on. Elliot, I mean, the list of senior Trump administration officials very close to the president and with firsthand knowledge of his actions and efforts on that day, prior, and afterwards. I mean, this is becoming quite a long list. Tell us what the significance that is for the investigation.
Yeah. You know, Jim, it's not just senior government officials, it's senior cabinet level government officials. That's relevant because the 25th Amendment to the Constitution allows the vice president and a majority of the cabinet to remove the president from office if the president, the language is unable to perform his duties, his office. Now, the question is, did the 25th Amendment come up? What were the bases that these cabinet officials had for maybe talking about removing the president? Did they think he was breaking the law? Did they think he was mentally unfit, and so on? Now, I don't think people should get too excited here because you don't know what they're providing to the committee. And are they actually still Trump insiders who are defending or protecting the president? But it is significant.
And there were reports going back to last year about cabinet officials really huddling and discussing whether they should invoke the 25th Amendment in the hours after the unrest began and the insurrection there at the Capitol. But Errol, you can't help but think so much of this goes back to the testimony of Cassidy Hutchinson. She really seemed to open the floodgates to all of these other higher level male officials. She had much more to lose than they did to come forward, but they clearly, it seems, now starting to follow suit and are willing to participate more with the committee in light of her testimony.
That's exactly right, Bianna. It's been said many times, and Liz Cheney, the vice chair of the committee, said it quite explicitly that this young woman who had a lot to lose is in some ways showing more integrity and indeed courage than some of the senior male cabinet secretaries and other members of the administration, basically an attempt to shame them into cooperating. Of course, when you get a subpoena, you know, shame is really not the issue. You really have a legal obligation to respond. But Elliot was exactly right. I mean, there were questions on the table. We know that 2 cabinet secretaries resigned, for example. Secretary Chao, Secretary DeVos. Secretary DeVos, in fact, sent a letter to the president, then President Trump, saying this is an inflection point, that what happened here on January 6th that's it for me. And we know that there were credible reports, I guess the committee wants to get to the bottom of it, that other cabinet secretaries like Mnuchin were considering invoking the 25th Amendment. So, you know, with so much turmoil for people to now to come forward and state under oath what was really going on, a very important part of this investigation.
Yeah, you would then say, if you were considering 25th Amendment, why? What was it? Did you consider the behavior criminal? I do want to bring in our reporter, Caitlin Polantz, who has this new reporting this morning about these key cabinet officials testifying. Caitlin, tell us what you know.
Well, Jim and Bianna, there is a long list of names in the cabinet that the House is looking into now, trying to get information out of as their investigation continues on. So the new information today is that they have interviewed the former Secretary of the Treasury, Steve Mnuchin. They are also negotiating for potential interviews with the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, at the end of the Trump administration. We also learned just yesterday that Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State, that he was in talks to do a potential closed-door interview with the committee. And then there are others that they're trying to talk to as well. Chad Wolf and Ken Cuccinelli at DHS. Mick Mulvaney, the former acting White House Chief of Staff, he had spoken. And what does it mean when you put all of these names together? Well, it really is all about the 25th Amendment, as you were just talking about. The 25th Amendment, whether that conversation was taking place of whether the cabinet should step in and try and remove Donald Trump for power or somehow take the reins of the administration, of the democracy away from him. That is a big question for the House Select Committee. We already know that they did speak to Gene Scalia. He was another cabinet member at the Department of Labor. And in that final House hearing, what we learned out of Scalia that was so important was that he was asking Trump to call a cabinet meeting and trying to get the president to say that the election was not stolen and that it was the end. Back to you.
Yeah. And it was interesting because from the testimony that we heard from the likes of Caitlin Hutchinson,
Yeah.
where she said that it was the threat of the 25th Amendment being invoked that really triggered the president to go out and finally persuaded him to make some of those videos calling on the rioters to go home. Caitlin Plants, thank you so much for that reporting. So Elliott Williams, out of all of the list of people who we heard from, high-level cabinet officials and intelligence officials, who are you most interested in hearing from once they do sit down with the committee members?
You know, I think anybody who was in the room with President Trump on January 4th, 5th, or 6th, and I think, frankly, to some extent, we don't know exactly what meetings he might have had, partly because some of the call logs and meeting logs don't exist from the White House that day. But anyone who can speak to individual direct conversations they had with the president. Again, someone like Ken Cuccinelli it has been an ally of the president from the beginning, and I guess I would have questions as to what he's actually able to or going to provide. But it's still, that firsthand knowledge is going to be very important for building either a criminal case, but not even that, but this dereliction of duty point that the committee is moving toward. This question of, you know, did the president simply just violate his oath of office, and ought he serve as president again?
And I wonder if Steve Bennett's conviction for defying Congress in that subpoena might have helped grease the works here a little bit. Errol Louis, Elliott Williams, thanks so much to both of you.